Hello and welcome to today's very special episode. It is our Christmas special of the Runna Podcast.
I'm super excited for this one. We're going to be wrapping up the amazing year we've had, our top moments from the Runna Podcast, our sporting heroes for the year, our own goals, and just wrapping up the year.
And in our festive spirits, it's important to tell you what we're wearing. For those not watching, Anya looks completely ridiculous. She is a Christmas tree with a star that has flopped and fallen down, covering her face.
And Ben looks totally normal. He wears a giant gold star outfit all the time walking around the Runna office.
Yes, I'm going to try and smile and pretend I'm having a very happy festive time. But excitingly, also, we are now going into our third year hosting the Runna Podcast. So thank you very much for listening along. And it has been amazing to see so many of you tagging us in your Spotify Wraps. And anecdotally, I feel like when I meet more of you runners out in the world, I feel more of you telling me that you love listening to us on the podcast than you actually do tell me about the app anymore. So there's something good in that. Anyway, thank you so much for listening along, and we cannot wait to bring you so many more exciting episodes next year. I guess we should get straight into it and bring you our Runna Podcast Wrapped.
Yeah, so our most played episode of the year, it was the 12 most common running mistakes and how to avoid them, which was an epic episode.
Well, that is amazing. And if you didn't listen, go back and listen to that one. And I guess a lot of people probably wouldn't realise it. But despite Runna helping people train for marathons and even ultra marathons, we have most of our runners are on the beginner side of things. And Anya, do you know our average 5K time?
I think I do. It's about 35 minutes.
Well, actually, no, you're wrong. It is close, 33 minutes. And I think a lot of people would assume that because Runna helps so many people train for marathons or even crazy goals like ultra marathons, that the average 5K time might be 20 minutes or something crazy fast like that. And while 33 minutes is still very fast, I think it really shows that Runna is a service that helps anyone, wherever you are in your running spectrum. And given how many of you liked us bringing you kind of tip-based episodes, we'll be bringing you more of them next year, as well as more exciting, amazing episodes with brilliant guests. And on that note, Anya, we have had some amazing guests, but what has been our most listened to moment of the podcast this year?
Yeah, our top best moment was Romesh Ranganathan's beginner advice.
Well, we were going to rewind our minds back and play that back for you.
The key is run comedically slowly. So it just really go so slow that it would be embarrassing to be seen publicly. That's how slow you want to go, and then you'll build up your distance from then. And that might be the best running advice I've ever had, because I then was like, okay, and so I started doing that, and then I sort of not fell in love with it, but I suddenly realised why people were into it. You know, it was just plodding. I discovered plodding, and which I hadn't ever done before, and then I remember I started adding to my distance, and this was only like maybe 3 years ago. I really started to, this is genuinely true. I ran for like 9 kilometers for the first time in my life, and I phoned a mate to tell him about it. I just ran 9 kilometers. Obviously they don't care, but it felt like such a significant moment to me that I just didn't think it was inside the realms of possibility that someone like me would run that distance. I mean, I did it slowly, but still, running without stopping for 9 kilometers felt like wild. I felt like I'd moved into a different species.
Who thought we'd be taking running advice from Romesh Ranganathan?
Well, I think if he wants to run comedically slowly, he should also wear fancy dress at the same time, and that will definitely help. But no, he is an incredible man, and he has taken his running so far.
So next, our most knowledge-packed episode.
Yep, and this has to be Coach Adrian's deep dive into the 3 most common running injuries. So if you're suffering with injuries and want to know how to avoid getting injured or recover from your injuries, go back and give that one a listen. But otherwise, I think the funniest moment, which we're going to have to play everyone back, which you probably don't want everyone to hear, is Anya demonstrating that she cannot sing.
Yeah, I'm not doing it again. Roll the tape.
Have you watched Back to the Future?
No.
Have you watched Back to the Future?
No.
Are you shitting me? Neither of you watched Back to the Future. Anyway, that film's got the song "Power of Love."
Okay.
Huey Lewis in the News. I listened.
Not the one that goes, "The power of love, a force from above." No.
I cannot believe the courage with which you went into.
I really held eye contact.
I've never heard that song before.
Never heard a song anything like.
Wait, Anya, how did it go? The next bit. The next bit.
Deep in my soul, make love. And then it goes like, you're gold.
Your gold.
Something like that.
Should we hear the actual
Yeah,
song?
let's go for it.
Power of love, a force on my path, deep in my soul.
Is this real? Is this all real?
Right, enough of that. Let's move on to our own personal year roundups. So, Ben, what was your most inspiring moment from the Runner podcast this year?
Fresh on my mind, we have chatted to lots of incredible people. I am slightly biased for this one. And only the other weekend, Jess Furness, who's also my girlfriend, completed her challenge of running 42 marathons in the year in memory of her brother Eddie, who would have been 42 this year. And I think a lot of people do incredible ultramarathon challenges, but she also has had to do it alongside working full time. And most of these challenges don't run for nearly so long. And the reality of trying to run a marathon practically every week for a whole year is that you're either running them at 5 a.m. on a Friday and then doing starting work at 9 and working all day, which is ridiculous, so that you can have a weekend, or you work all week and then you have to do a marathon every weekend all year long. And doing the only way around that was she had to do 8 marathons in 8 days to try and create a bit more space for the second half of the year. So it's been crazy, but it was amazing seeing her finish that. So that has got to be my personal one. What about you, Anya?
Yeah, I really loved Jess's episode. It was so inspiring. And I think my most inspiring moment is similar. It is with Marcus Skeet, the Hull boy. He said he went on a walk and truly didn't know where that walk would take him. And he just started running. And then he went from running 1 mile every day to running the length of the UK. And his positive attitude in the face of so much going on, it still makes me emotional thinking about it today.
I mean, to run the length of the country is ridiculous for anyone, but let alone doing it at his age is just ridiculous. And again, he is an incredible person. I have no doubt he'll go on to do some more incredible things as well. Which brings us on to, Anya, from all of our episodes on the podcast this year, what is your number one takeaway, best lesson from 2025?
Yeah, so I found Laura Waitman's episode really powerful. She really dived into the mindset and she spoke about how it is totally normal and okay to feel nerves. And even on the world's biggest stages, those nerves and the anticipation and the pressure doesn't go away, but it's important to learn how to race with it and use it. And I think I'm definitely going to be taking that lesson into my marathons next year. What was your biggest lesson learnt?
I was absolutely blown away and shocked in an amazing way, the way in which Molly Seidel was able to join us, and this was an episode you weren't there for, was able to come in the day after having had to drop out of the marathon because she had a bit of an injury, but was able to make that decision in a way that meant doing her big dream of running a big marathon, doing really well, and kind of coming back with that race, doing the dreams out the window. But at the same time, she protects her body, does the right thing, and then was able to basically process this within 24 hours to come back on and smile and explain this so positively. And I think that like really demonstrated the kind of like elite mentality and mindset that really is needed, where so often, even myself, but like so many people will, something goes wrong and then they get in a sulk about it. Yeah. And at the same time, that achieves nothing. All we can do is control the controllables, stop when we need to stop, and start working forwards towards the next thing. And I think she did that in a way that was just remarkable and such like strong emotional control, which I have no doubt will mean that she rebounds back and is stronger than ever next time around.
Yeah, I'm really jealous I wasn't there for that episode, but I love Molly Seidel and I really enjoyed listening to that on my long run. On a slightly lighter-hearted note, what is your funniest moment from recording the podcast this year?
Well, to try and name just one, maybe the one that first comes to mind, has to be Max Whitlock telling us about his meticulous attention to detail and routine. He must do all the same habits on race day, waking up at the right time, all of these things so that his performance can go flawlessly. And at, I think it was a big World Championships event in China, he went to the toilet to find that it wasn't a normal toilet, it was just a hole in the floor. And I don't quite know how, but he got wee on his trousers, which then threw him off, ruined his routine, and then he didn't perform to the same standard of a many-time gold medalist at the Olympics would expect. And I just thought that is ridiculous. If sometimes I get wee on my trousers and I have to pull them up and get on my day. But if that's what happened to him, June, maybe we could all take a big deep breath next time we get wee on our trousers.
Yeah, don't cry over spilt milk. Don't cry over piss on your trousers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's something to take away there.
My favourite moment was from Joel Dommett's episode, and he was talking about racing London Marathon in a piranha costume, and I think he had something on top of his head, and it snapped, so it meant it was really heavy, but his whole piranha head fell down on the top of his head, and he had a shelf below his chin, and he said he looked down to just one foot in front of the other, look at his feet, and he just saw a pile of hair, and he was it was just the most humbling thing ever. He was already in the trenches at London Marathon, and then his costume had actually made a bald patch on his head.
God, that is not what you want to see. And also knowing that you've got more distance to run to keep making your legs hurt more and keep making your head more bald. Really not what you want to know. And I think Anya might be able to go bald from a Christmas tree as well.
It's not the most comfortable outfit. Okay, let's move on to our favourite sporting moments and sports people of the year. My favourite sporting moment was Faith Kipyegon's breaking 4. And I think it was just such an incredible moment for women's sport specifically. So for those of you who don't know, there was this big showcase. It was filmed. There was lots of media about it, about Faith Kipyegon trying to break the 4-minute mile, which is just unprecedented. No woman has ever got close to it. And I think it was just so cool to have women in the limelight of this major sports science project, and she didn't quite get the time, but it was still such a big step forwards for just representation of women's in sports science. And we all watched Kipchoge's breaking 2, and I still think about it all the time.
It's only a matter of time before a woman breaks 4.
What was your...
Well, I've kind of blended my sporting moment and then sports person, sportsman and woman of the year into one, which was that a few weeks ago, I ran the Valencia Marathon, which means that it's probably emotively more significant in my own memory. But one of our runner legends, who's joined us on the podcast twice, Alex Yee, went on to run his second marathon, which he had told us about live on the podcast. And he went on to run the second fastest British marathon time in history in only his second ever marathon, despite primarily calling himself a triathlete, and ran 2:06 in the Valencia Marathon, which is unbelievable. And I saw him running the other way. I don't think he heard me, but I cheered very loudly to the point where I was actually out of breath from my scream. And then at the same day, one of our amazing runner coaches, Genevieve Gregson, representing Australia, who all year kind of seen her growing a baby in her tummy, having a baby, and she hasn't grown the whole baby in her tummy, had the baby and done all this, because that would be more than 12 months. But 6 months ago, she had her, I think, second child, and came back in Valencia to then go on to run 6 months postpartum, 2 hours and 28 minutes for a marathon, which is just ridiculous. And so she would get my sports woman of the year and 2 incredible performances that day.
I could talk about them for so long. I think Alex Yee averaged 2:59 a kilometre, which is just the most mind-boggling thing ever. And that was quite a last-minute decision for him. He was actually going to do slower, and he saw a group ahead of him, and it was a last-minute switch decision. He was like, if it's going to be my day, it's going to be my day, and let's go see.
Really?
And then he ran that insane time.
One of the workouts that I saw him share in the run-up to the marathon, which I think just helps us to really visualise how ridiculously amazing someone like Alex is. He ran a 30-kilometre workout 1 kilometer up, 1 kilometer down. And I think the variety and pace was something like 250 to 310 or something like, for the fast ones, it was a 250 kilometer.
Yeah.
And then he rested, measly 3:10 minute per kilometer.
Yeah.
And I might also be misremembering that, and it may well have even been faster than that. He is a freak of nature,
Yeah.
but like not a freak of nature in the way that he's just like, I think, born and gifted with some kind of like super legs. His mindset, his drive is incredible. And we spoke to him the first time around immediately after his gold medal.
Yeah.
And it was literally like, Alex, you got the gold medal in triathlon. Like, what next? What do you want to achieve next? And he was like, well, my triathlon, my swimming, I could make this a bit better. My cycling, well, that could be obviously a bit better. My running, that could obviously be a bit better. I could all these different things to improve.
Yeah.
And like to have that level of drive when you're literally agreed by doing a gold medal around your neck that you're the best in the whole world, and to still be that kind of like self-critical / see these areas for development, I think is ultimately what allows for you to go on to set such phenomenal times in doing a second sport.
Yeah. And I think it's the same mindset thing, which is why Genevieve did such an incredible time. Like, to bounce back like that as a mum is just, she is also so incredible, and we're going to have to get her on the podcast at some point.
Absolutely. Who was your sporting man of the year?
I also thought about Alex Yee, but to give you a different answer, I also think Jake Whiteman, who we had on the Runna podcast, and it was an amazing episode, has had an incredible year. He's had this like comeback. So he was world champion, he's achieved some amazing things, and then had a pretty rubbish time with injuries. And I think a lot of people had ruled him out. He had to change coach. There were some big changes, and he came back to be so close to regaining his world championship status. He got silver in the Tokyo World Championships by like milliseconds, but he also set his PB for the mile this year, and I just love a comeback story.
Nice. Jake was incredible to talk to, and if you haven't listened to that one, go and listen. I feel like we're giving people a lot of homework, but Anya, your sportswoman of the year?
I think it's a similar story. It's the comeback kid. So Keely Hodgkinson is like such an inspiration to me, and she also had a really tough time with injury, and I forget she's only 23, and there's a lot of pressure on her being like Olympic gold medalist, and again, no one knew what her return to the sport was going to be like after being out for the majority of the season, and she came back and got another podium at the World Championships, and then also her first Diamond League back. She actually beat her gold medal time at the Olympics.
Wow, I didn't even realise that. That is insane.
Yep.
Well, that brings us on to, Anya, your favourite piece. I'm getting lost in my stuff.
Let me just rearrange.
Anya, that brings us on to your favourite piece of running tech or running gadget of the year.
Yeah, so I wanted a completely neutral one here, nothing sponsored. I have really loved the Chorus heart rate monitor. I've never got on with chest straps before because I feel like they restrict me. I don't like how they rub and chafe on your sports bra, but it's just a heart rate monitor that goes on your arm. And I've trained this year more to heart rate than ever before. And I think it's really great, one, to be in the right heart rate zones. And a heart rate monitor is just a little bit more accurate than your wristwatch. It's not essential, but also it is pretty affordable. But I think the best way to see your fitness growing is running like the same route, same distance, same pace, and seeing your heart rate a little bit lower than it was a few weeks ago. So that's been really valuable for me.
I've also worn my Chorus heart rate strap, again unsponsored, for almost every run this year. I like the fact that it's simple, rechargeable, much easier to put it on your arm than it is to whack it up on around your chest as well. So yeah, would massively recommend it to anyone looking for a relatively affordable heart rate monitor. But my piece of tech, which I would have actually gone for the heart rate monitor if you hadn't picked it, would have to be the Oakley Meta sunglasses. And they are a bit extra and a bit unnecessary for the average person, but more they excite me as the direction or the future that I think running and cycling and sports tech is going, which is that, like, fundamentally, I don't actually think a watch is very helpful, because when you run, you literally can't see your watch screen, because you have to flick your arm around and then kind of read the data, and it's all kind of like little numbers. And instead, if you could just drive your car and have your heads up display of your speed as you're driving, having that when you're running out of your kind of field of view would be so helpful. And I think, like, while the sunglasses can record video and talk to you, it's only a matter of time before we kind of get the heads up display And then I think you have everything you need there. If they could connect to your heart rate monitor that's on your arm, more accurate than your wrist, you don't even need to wear a watch.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to carry your phone with you because they can take a photo and they can probably be doing emergency calls and everything. That really excites me, except for running in the dark, when you might need another lens or something. But I think more that there's just so much opportunity for innovation. And I guess that was what Dom and I thought when we started Runner 5 years ago. And while I think we've made a lot of progress in running coaching, making that better, making that more affordable and accessible, I think there's still so much opportunity for the hardware around us to get better, and that really excites me.
Okay, before we go on to talk about our goals for 2026, I wanted to catch you out. We have a special voice behind the camera today, our amazing podcast producer, Jazz, who's going to test us on our Strava roundup.
Hello.
Let's see what our Strava yearly roundup looks like. I have sent through both of our yearly wraps to Jazz, and she's going to test us.
All right, Ben and Anya, are you ready for your official Strava roundup?
Yeah.
Ready as I'm ever going to be. I'm the star of this show.
First up, total time training in 2025. Who do you think clocked more hours? Ben or Anya?
Well, you do a lot of steady runs around Battersea Park.
Yeah.
You've normally done about an hour and a half of running before I wake up every day.
Yeah, so I think I've probably done more hours running than you, but you do a lot more cycling, and cycling takes up more hours. I think it's actually going to be quite a close one.
You do a lot of well, not a lot. You've been taking up swimming as well lately. You don't
It
miss
takes
out
me a
on
long
cross training.
time, the swimming.
It takes you a long time. I've also been better this year at doing my mobility. Done a few classes, done a few runner sessions of my mobility.
I think you've had some like big cycling weeks.
Okay, final answer. Final answer, Ben.
Okay, I'm going me as well.
Okay, you are correct. It was Ben. Ben, you clocked 566 hours. Anya, 461.
Oh, I need to up my game.
Anya, that's 100 hours.
100 hours I've wasted.
What were you doing
In the words
with all that time?
The words of Molly May, we all have the same 24 hours.
Also, 100 hours over the course of that's basically 10 hours extra a month that I've done.
Yeah.
Jesus. Like 15 minutes a day.
Ben, I wouldn't get too excited.
Oh no, here comes my downfall.
What's up next?
Next one is total distance covered by running. This isn't including cycling.
No.
So here comes the real
I
question.
think, Anya,
Who was higher?
I think what do you think your average weekly mileage is?
I think this year's lower than last year.
As in, what would you do on a normal week?
I'm averaging over 100k at the moment, like
Okay,
a week.
I'm averaging like 40 on a good week.
Okay.
I think you will have done more than double the kilometres I've run this year, sadly.
I've probably prioritised training a bit more than you this year.
Right, Jazz, tell us the damage.
Anya absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
Anya got 4,822 kilometres. Ben, 1,625. Almost
so have you done-
three
you've done-
times the distance.
Yeah, 3 times. Way more than double, gosh.
I don't know how many that is me like averaging.
So this
a
isn't
month
even
or
your
anything.
biggest year of mileage?
No, last year I was doing more.
Jeez,
2026 I'm going to be back there.
head
That's
coach
good.
Anya Culling.
Rookie numbers, Ben.
Right, next one. Let's talk about segments. So, comms and comms. Who do you think got the most crowns this year?
So
Well, it just depends how many segments around Battersea Park there are, because I think I have more variety where I
Yeah.
go, but you're definitely faster. Relative to your gender, for sure.
yeah, I would agree, but I think you might have more bike comms.
I won't have many, though. I think it's Anya taking the crown again.
It is Anya again. 36 comms versus Ben's 20 comms.
I think the only ones that really matter are my Battersea Park comms. They're the ones I really value as the London mecca of running.
Well, let's move on to local legends then. Who do we think, or maybe we know, who got the most local legends this year?
I know I've got the local legend of running one way around Battersea Park. I run the opposite way to most people, and that is like a local legend. And we filmed Emma, who works in the runner office, getting the local legend, but thankfully she ran the opposite way.
So basically, between the runner team, we hold both directions of Battersea Park local legends.
That is a claim to fame, yeah.
So, Anya, do you run the wrong way to most people purely so that you get more waves from your fans?
Kind of. No, I didn't mean that. I don't think that's what you were
Wait, go
say.
on, Anya. We're not cutting this out. Kind of what?
No, I didn't think that's what you were going to say.
What?
I run that way round because my watch is on my left wrist. So if I run clockwise round, I think I get about an extra step a lap. So it will reduce my time by about a second every lap. Because it's on my outside wrist rather than my inside wrist.
What? And because then you get better time,
Yeah. So I think it's about a second quicker a lap if it's on your outside wrist.
and you get powered on by all of your fans who now you see more often because you cross over by more.
There are a lot of runners that run the other way. Yeah. You must have some near you, some Richmond Park ones.
I think my only local legends are on the commute.
Jazz.
The answer is Anya got 103 local legends and Ben got 36.
Certified Strava royalty.
Right.
Well,
Now on to who trained on more days overall, Ben or Anya?
what
I think-
consistency.
Yeah.
You run basically every day of the week, so you're going to beat me again.
I do think this is a bit unfair because, I do
I-
get the privilege of being able to prioritise my training a bit more.
I thought it might have been a goal. I don't know if I said it out loud, but I do kind of always think one of my goals is to try and exercise every day, as in like be active every day, and that doesn't need to be smash a hard workout. That's do some mobility. I think in reality, I've probably fallen behind, and we've had quite a lot going on this year. So I am going with you, Anya. But next year, this is something that I think I will take you down on.
Yeah, but that is a slippery slope because the other day I had an overnight flight and Joe made me do literally a 400-meter jog to keep up his Strava streak for the year of running every day.
Every day?
Yeah. It was like 11:30 and I had to do this last week.
And you do a 400-meter run?
Yeah.
Does that count? I feel like a streak needs the minimum distance or time to kind of validate.
Yeah.
Because everyone's probably like jog to the toilet when they need a wee or something, especially Max when he...
I personally don't Strava that though.
No, okay, fair. Sorry, I'm Strava.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I think me.
You are correct. 326 active days compared to Ben's 276.
Couple of rest days. I probably had more rest days this year than ever.
Right, well, if
before
anyone at home is feeling bad, know that you're not feeling as bad as me right next to Anna, who keeps just losing at all of these.
Okay, final one. Who has the longest weekly streak?
So is that trained every week for how
So
long?
this is your Strava weekly streak. How many weeks have you uploaded on Strava every week without missing a week? And I know how long mine is. And it's good. It's not great. I had a bad back 2 years ago, and I had like 3 or 4 weeks where I couldn't move. So my streak is 2 years long.
I wonder if there's ever been a week where I haven't ran since I got Strava.
Well, then you win. You might. What? How many years is that?
Depends when I got
4
Strava.
or 5 years? 5 years?
Yeah. There might be, but
Oh god.
I think I
right.
probably run at least
So we're
once
looking
a
at-
week.
We're looking at.
I didn't get
250
Strava.
weeks.
I remember my first ever Strava post. It was in lockdown, and I said, ran to the pub, and the pub was closed, and that is on my personal growth. Now I'm just running around Battersea Park aimlessly.
Anya, you have a streak of 277 weeks.
That's more than 5 years and counting.
I
Very
think that maybe
impressive.
is then. I've got it since I started Strava.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Ben, 103 weeks.
Yep.
Not bad.
Well, thanks for that, Jazz, and completely ruining this episode of the podcast for me, at least. Anyway, shall we move on to our 2026 goals?
Actually, we're going to quickly go back over your 2025 goals, if that's all right with you, Ben.
Oh, brilliant!
Ooh.
I thought we were done. Carry on roasting Ben, shall we?
I don't remember what we said.
So, Ben, you said you wanted to get a 2-hour 40 marathon at Paris, get an Ironman PB of 9 hours and 15 minutes, and to find balance with 46% more running than last year.
Where did
46.
46 come from? Really? And that was in the podcast.
That was in the podcast.
Well, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that because that man sounds crazy. I did run the Paris Marathon this year.
Yeah.
It was my best marathon time since we started Runner.
Okay.
I'm trending upwards, but not to 240. I did 248.
It was hard. It was hilly, hard day.
But, well, I was very happy with it. I think I maybe just went further backwards with Runner's chaos than I imagined, which is funny because that's one of my goals for next year is a good marathon time.
Mhm.
And I also, as I said last year, wanted a faster marathon time.
That's
And I started the year at 9:29, and I did go on to set an Ironman PB this year. but it was of 9:29, and I saved it by 8 seconds.
I remember tracking you and being like, he's so close, he's so close.
So I didn't quite achieve the goals I set out last year, but I got some of the way. And maybe it's kind of what we do preach, which is you don't need to just have your A goals, it's your A and your B goals. So I kind of did some of the way. Jazz, please tell me that Anya didn't achieve all of her goals to make me feel better.
Anya, your 2025 goal was 2 hour, 34-minute marathon.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that.
What was your best marathon time this year?
You see, it's similar to yours. Like, I'm still really proud of my performances this year. And yeah, just like we both had really big punchy targets, and to get a PB and to, get an Ironman PB, they're crazy targets. I ran 2 hours 36 at London Marathon, and I don't think I thought I was going to be as close to that 2:34. It was like I was like 90 seconds off, which I think is
That's
achievable.
amazing. That's
so,
a really small gap.
Going into 2026, we can talk about our 2026 goals.
Yeah,
but
well,
I think,
you go. What do you want to achieve in 2026?
I think it's still got to be a 2:34 marathon. I am all eyes on Tokyo Marathon right now, and I really am going to push for that PB. I think it's in the locker, knowing that London Marathon last year was a pretty hot day. It was a hard marathon, and yeah, I was only 90 seconds off. And I'm also doing an Ironman, but my first Ironman, so that is just survival.
Well, I think for anyone listening, I actually have no doubt that you will achieve that. And I think seeing your life a little bit more behind the scenes and the inner working of it, I think you've had to conquer so much, not only training like a elite athlete, but also juggling this crazy job in the public eye looking like a lemon or a Christmas tree right now. And I think you've kind of got the grips of it. You're nailing your routine, your consistency, and I think you've learned a lot. And I have no doubt that you'll get there.
Thank you so much. And I also think it's similar for you, though. I'm sure your goals are going to be big and scary again, but you're going to have a bit more balance this year.
Yeah. So I think I think last year I said I also wanted more consistency or prioritize my training more, which I didn't really do. But we did go on to sell the company. All of these things got in the way. Next year, I do want to have more consistency, and I'm going to achieve that hopefully by having a bit more time to train.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work 80% hours, and I'm going to have 2 mornings off a week.
Yeah.
So on Strava next year, when you see me training on a Tuesday or a Thursday morning,
Yeah.
know that I'm not slacking and I'm actually allowed to be doing my training. But as a result, I think I'm almost setting myself up for success a little bit more, whereby my kind of race goals in order would be the Barcelona half marathon, which I've set up as a B race in the run-up to my London Marathon, which I want to run my best London Marathon, and I want to run my best marathon since Runner, which I'm kind of trending up. So I did 2:48 last year. I want to beat that time. I think sub 2:45 would be a realistic, ambitious goal. So I want to see what kind of shape I can get into with my half marathon. Use that as a stepping stone for my London Marathon.
Yeah.
I'll beat my Paris time. And then my biggest goal of the year will be, again, my Ironman.
Yeah.
I need to beat my PB of 9:29 and a few less seconds. And I would love to make that 9:15. And I think that is all realistic. And then I guess I'm going to carry on still doing a bit of cycling.
Yeah.
I'm going to do lots of cycling crit races and want to kind of rank up the leagues through that. And I suspect I would then pencil in a marathon at the end of the year where I can then hopefully keep trending that upwards. So lots to try and do, and all of that is around still inevitably working hard.
Yeah, no, I think you've got it though. The amounts of crossover between working hard and then your sporting performances. I think the only thing you were missing this year was just time. And with a bit more time next year, you've got the drive, you've got the passion for it. That's remained throughout your whole years of building Runner, and the amount of crossovers between drive and working hard and then pursuing running goals is huge. And we're going to have to do some training together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would love that, and that'd be very helpful. I think almost one of the things that we always talk about, and it just comes up time and time again when we talk to during the Olympic champions, we get to talk about, is about routine and setting yourself up for that. And I think it's all well and good having a routine on paper, but I think there's only a finite amount of willpower anyone has to push hard in a day or in a week. And I think annoyingly, I've kind of burnt my matches in work to the point where I get to the end of the day, and despite loving running, loving cycling, want to get out the door, I'm just completely zonked by it. And as a result, I am building my routines for next year, and I'm going to have a meticulous schedule that I'm going to follow. And I'm going to make sure I'm kind of like getting those harder sessions in before work when I have some willpower for that day. So we'll see. I think with anything, it's important that your goals need to be hard, because if they were easy, we'd achieve them, but then they wouldn't be motivating. And there needs to be an element of risk. So hopefully this time next year, we don't just get Jazz back on to roast me.
I'm happy with 2025.
I'm happy with it. But Jazz is clearly not. So Anya, I've got you a very special Christmas present this year.
It can't be the fake tan you got me last year.
You forgetting something. The extra dark fake tan, Anya. Come on. I can see you're still wearing it. It's glistening away under the lights.
Oh,
Anyway,
thank
Anya,
you.
here is something very special for you. It might look like I haven't wrapped it up, and it's in the hat of a Christmas tree hat. Not a Christmas tree. It's in a Christmas hat. But that's just what it looks like.
Well, thank you, Coach Ben. I've also got you something. I'm so excited. It's actually Pete's last year. It goes really well with my
Your
Christmas tree. For those listening at home, Ben has got me a bright pink fish swimming hat to train for my Ironman this year.
I think it's going to look great. If only I'd given it to you earlier in the episode, you could have worn it for longer.
The pink fin is what I love so much.
Oh, wow, that looks so much better.
I hope there's a nice zoom on that in the video camera. Me putting that on.
Oh, I'm glad it fits so well, and you look terrific.
Never looked better.
I expect to see that in your next TikTok of you doing your swimming training.
Ben, I have a Christmas present for you too.
Oh, well, I hope it beats last year's spectacular present. Those toe socks, I wear them every day.
It is a good one.
Here
Just
it
as
goes.
valuable, I reckon.
Oh, you've used my same wrapping paper. Oh, do you know what? I get advertised this on my Instagram ads every day. I think this must be quite expensive. I have got a tractive dog tracker, so I can get my new little puppy Scooby, who's coming into the office tomorrow, on Strava.
I am so cool.
This
I've
is-
seen Colleen, our other coach, use the same for her dog.
This is like an actually nice present. Exactly,
So is
exactly like what
this.
I got you. I actually, I'm actually sad that I haven't got something as good as what I got you, but it's nearly as good. And yeah, Scooby's vaccine means she's going to walk tomorrow, first time, just in time. So
Amazing.
thank you so much, Coach Anya. This is terrific.
Oh, happy Christmas, Coach Ben.
I'll get Scooby to write you a thank you card. Anya, your hat matches your shoes nicely.
It's all part of the look.
I think
Fashion.
whenever it rains in Battersea Park, you should put your hat on.
Yeah. It's called fashion. Aerodynamics as well.
I'm not sure the tree does that though. That concludes our very merry, festive episode of the podcast. And you'll be pleased to know next year we'll be back, not looking so ridiculous, with a normal episode. And hopefully your tree literally fell down as I said that. But yeah, we'll be back. We cannot wait to support you on your running journeys next year. And we hope you guys go away, set your own goals, and then we'll be there to help you support you on that way of achieving them as well. Thanks again for listening, and see you next year.